now we'll, unfortunately, Dr. Daniel Johnson, who's the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, could not make it to the press conference this morning. So representing him and the ministry is Jeffery Beckles, who is also the General Manager of the Nassau Sports Authority here in the Bahamas.
Well, thank you, Chris, and good morning, everyone. And I do join my colleague, Secretary Harrison, in welcoming you back to the Bahamas and to many people for the very first time. And it is indeed a privilege to represent our Minister, Dr. Daniel Johnson, who is not able to be here today. Chris might have said it's unfortunate, but I look at it this way. The Minister is fortunate that he has people who can actually represent him. So for me, it's a fortune. But again, thank you so much. We want to say a very special welcome to both coaches. And Coach PJ, I saw your video, and if your team plays with any degree of the energy that I saw in that video on YouTube the other day, I think we're going to have a great time. Coach Rick, you know, we talked about the Bahamian root and connection with Middle Tennessee State, and all the expectations of last year's game, and yes, there was a lot of hype. We're not going to put that burden on you. All we're going to tell you is that we expect a great show. We'll leave the rest to you. But obviously the partnership with the Popeyes brand, having the inaugural event last year, has already begun to reap benefits for the Bahamas. As I said to one of my colleagues yesterday, last year, yes, it was indeed the original event. This year, we now have our first Bahamian Popeyes restaurant, and it is that kind of progressive efforts that we're hoping that this partnership will continue to produce. Every year, we want to be able to make a statement of how we've added and built on what we established the year before. And since this is a rather long-term relationship, we want to say to all of the partners involved, ESPN, both conferences, the team that works so hard with the Bahamas Bowl organization, that we will identify some milestone over the next few years that every time we execute this event, we will be able to point to something significant we would have done. The fact that we opened this restaurant yesterday in the Bahamas, which I understand is going to be the first of many, also gives us a lot of great hope for a very firm foundation on which we can build. But the Minister, as you know, who is an extraordinarily very hyped up sports fan himself, is very excited about opportunities to expose our young people to opportunities of what they can be. The youth football program that was started last year is one good example of that, and we're certainly appreciative of the efforts for those who have been involved in that. And I believe that, coaches, you're going to have even more young people this year. Last year there was several hundred young people. I believe that this year you're going to be really inundated with a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. And because school has already been closed, this is something that many of our students are looking forward to. So I think you can anticipate a tremendous turnout this year. And I think the players, as they indicated last year, this was a first for many of the players. And as Secretary Harrison said earlier, every time people come to this country, we want them to experience a first. And many of the players who've never been to the Bahamas before, in their own video recorded testimonies, indicated the impact of having traveled to the Bahamas, interacted with our young people, experienced our cuisine and our culture, and went back with a totally different appreciation for a vacation. And so we want to invite you, the listening public and the viewing public, to find the time to be here in the Bahamas on Christmas Eve to enjoy this game with us. This year's slogan we've adopted with our colleagues in the Ministry of Tourism is family, fun, and football. We want to invite every visitor who's going to be in the Bahamas, every resident, to come out to the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium as early as 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve. We are going to have a tailgate party that's going to be unforgettable. And with our partners here, Coca-Cola, Burns House, the Ministry of Tourism, Popeyes, it is going to be a grand experience. And so we really want you to know that the Bahamas is committed to ensuring that this partnership not only grows, but that the awareness, the international and global awareness that the Bahamas is truly working very diligently to ensure that we are a premier sports and entertainment event, hosting event country. We have already had a great start with several global events, and we're going to continue to use this platform with the Bahamas Popeyes Bowl to ensure that we continue to work hard to achieve that objective. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege for us to be here, and thank you so much. We look forward to an absolutely wonderful time on Christmas Eve. Trade in the snow and the sleet and the ice and the rain, and come join us in the balmy Bahamas, because we obviously believe that not only is it better in the Bahamas, but sports is better in the Bahamas. Thank you so much, And on behalf of Dr. Daniel Johnson, our Minister of Sports, we say a very warm welcome and Merry Christmas to all.